In our family, buying organic food is very important to us, but it can be a little more expensive. Today I'm going to share 10 tips for how you can buy organic food even on a tight budget. My first tip is to buy whole foods, meaning try to avoid buying pre-prepared packaged foods and try to stick to whole ingredients only. We've noticed when we buy the packaged foods, that's when the bill really starts to add up. Not only is this way healthier, but it's also going to be much better for your bank account. My next tip is to buy some of your produce frozen. A lot of times, frozen produce can be cheaper, especially things like berries, and particularly when they are out of season. You'll still be able to have delicious berries all year long. My next tip goes hand in hand with avoiding buying the pre-prepared packaged foods and buying ingredients only, and that is to learn how to make things from scratch. Things like deli meat, bread, yogurts, even some cheeses, jams. There are so many things you can make at home that you don't need to buy and that are very simple to make. When you make things from scratch, you get to avoid things like preservatives, seed oils, and other things that get put in foods that are toxic for your body. Yes, it's more time consuming, but it's also just a lifestyle change. Once you learn how to make a few staples, you can get in a routine and it won't be so overwhelming. My initial purpose in making more from scratch was not for a budget reason, but it was actually for a health reason. The more I learned about health, the more difficult it became for me to find things in the grocery store that I felt comfortable and felt good eating, because everything was full of so many strange ingredients. If you are a busy person and you're just starting to prioritize making your own food from scratch, just take it one step at a time. Don't let yourself get too overwhelmed, because this might make you feel like it's impossible for you. Slowly, you can start adding more to your list of things that you can make on your own. There are still things that I don't make on my own, like butter and cheese. But the more I make by hand, the more rewarding it seems to be. My next tip is to have a basic idea of your inventory, especially if you are like us and you stock up a lot on things. Something that's really helped me is to keep a whiteboard in the kitchen, and when we're running low on something, write it down. Then later, I'll add it to my grocery list, which is my fifth tip. I have found making a list to be so important for budgeting. That way, I really have an idea of how much I have to spend and what we really need to get through the week. Then we go to the store, pretty much knowing exactly how much to get of each item and how much we'll spend. My next tip is to weigh out your produce, so you know exactly how much you're spending on each item. And that brings me to my next tip, which is to use a calculator while you're in the store and add up each item. This has become crucial for us to stay on budget. If we don't add everything up, we don't know how much our bill is actually going to be. Staying on a budget is all about organization and discipline. My next tip is to stock up on things that are on sale. And by that I mean things that you would be buying anyway. That way you are saving money in the long run. Whenever whole chickens or cheese are on sale, we always stock up because these are staples in our home. But make sure to account for it in your budget so that you can stay on track. My ninth tip is to buy some things in bulk. If there are things that you use a lot of, you might as well buy a large amount so that you can get it at a discounted price. I'll share some of the things that I like to buy in bulk in the description box below. But make sure when you're going to commit to buying in bulk that it's actually a better price than buying a small amount. So pay attention to the unit price. My final tip is to buy from a local farm whenever you can. Make sure to look for farms that don't use pesticides and that allow animals to range on pasture, that take good care of their animals and are very clean. For example, if you are going to be buying raw milk, you want to make sure that the facility is very clean. One nice thing about buying from local farms is that you are automatically going to get produce that is in season. You may be able to find a farm that will sell you a whole or half of a pasture-raised cow at a discounted price, which is great for your budget. Once you've been eating local organic food, you may even be inspired to start gardening yourself. I cannot explain how rewarding it is to be eating food that you grew with your own hands. Thanks for watching. I hope this video encouraged and inspired you to start buying more organic food even if you're on a budget.